Okay, so this is a true story. Something really happened, and the song has about 100 verses that spell it out in complete detail. But I didn't want to take up that much time on our agenda today, so I tossed out about 20 verses. So if there are some strange breaks in the narrative that don't make sense, that's why there's parts missing. But I'll tell you all the story of little Only Wise and how she was deluded by John Lewis's lies. He told her to meet him at Adams's spring and bring him some money or some other fun thing. No money to flatter the case. We'll have to get married so there'll be no disgrace. John Lewis, don't you tell me you're mine. If you're mine to marry me or leave me behind. Little old me, I'll tell you my mind. Mind is to drown you and leave you behind. He hugged her and kissed her and turned her around. Throwed her in the river where he knew she would drown. Two boys went a-fishing one fine summer day. They saw little Omie's body come floating away. And they took old John Lewis and put him in the jail. They took him to the jailhouse and locked him inside. You know, that feller wouldn't have been there if he had not killed his bride. He stayed in the prison till he made his escape. Then he went and joined the army to hide from his fate. Well, I'll tell you all the story of little Omie Wise and how she was deluded by John Lewis's lies. Sad story.
Harry, I think I discovered somebody. I think you mentioned her once, but I just ran into some things. This will give a lot of inspiration to all us old musicians. What's her name?
Yeah, the old musicians.
Brown. Yeah, I'm so
Case
old I
in
can't remember
point.
the kid's name. Um, Nora Brown. Have you heard of Nora
Yeah.
Brown?
Oh yeah, yeah, with the little girl, right?
Little Nora Brown. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's 14 this year, but she's been
Hmm.
playing these beautiful old ballads, and she's mainly a banjo picker.
Right.
She is just fantastic.
She's just great. And one of her main mentors was John Cohen, who
Yeah,
died
yeah,
fairly
yeah.
recently. But, that really, I thought was a significant passing of the torch from one of
Hmm.
the
Also,
original New Law City
She's
Ramblers
really
onto
inspiring.
this terribly
also,
talented 14-year-old.
also
Yeah,
Shlomo Pesco.
Terry, I was looking through an old songbook the other night. It was a Carson Robinson song. I think it was Carson Robinson songs or Carson Robinson and Vernon Dalhart songs maybe, and Omi Wise was in there.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know. I
Well,
don't know if Carson Robinson had anything to do with the construction of that tune or not, but
no,
his
I
name
don't
was on
think
it
so.
back as early as the 20s.
Yeah, but there's some background on my website if you want to look up Omi Wise on my website. I remember going through that stuff. I don't think that Carson Robinson was involved in the
Clarence
original
actually
band.
recorded it too.
Excuse me?
Clarence actually recorded it too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, a lot of people. It's a
So did
old standard North Carolina murder ballad.
Grayson and Witter.
Well, David, why don't you take a turn since you're speaking there? I'll mute everybody.
Another of Nora Brown's mentors was Shlomo Pestko uh, over there in Brooklyn, and he gives him a lot of credit for telling her about old time country music. First, she learned ukulele, and then she moved up to five string. And she's just a fantastic instrumentalist and singer. She's got a Facebook page, Nora Brown Banjo, and she's got lots of YouTube videos, and they're just great. Okay, I'd like to do a song here by a lady named Lal Watterson, who was part of the original core group of the Wattersons vocal group. And she also wrote a lot of interesting songs, and this is one of her most well-known. It's called Fine Horseman. Sleeping in my bed, strange thoughts are running through my head, and I dreamed you were playing with my hair. Fine, fine sparrow, fine, fine horseman. Rain falls and the wind roars, all the folks are indoors. We came through a ford, riding over the moors. Fine, fine sparrow, fine, fine horseman. Your dreams among my dreams are blue seas among sunbeams, shades of yellow, shades of green. These are your dreams among my dreams, and fine, fine sparrow, fine, fine horseman. Morning to you, farming man. Here's to your heart, your family and land. I'll pay down a ring and a golden band on a field for a ride around for a fine, fine sparrow and a fine, fine horseman. Morning likewise, maiden and man. My family's dead, my heart is in the ground. I have no land. This is no time for a farming man, nor a fine, fine sparrow, or a fine, fine horseman. Sleeping in my bed, strange thoughts are running through my head. I dreamed you were playing with my hand. Fine, fine sparrow, fine, fine horseman.
Very nice. Hey.
Hey. Well, I wanted to greet new people, and forgive me if I've forgotten, but I don't think Susan Fife has been with us previously. So maybe you'd like to just briefly introduce yourself, say where you're broadcasting from here. Oh, you're still muted. You have to unmute.
Did you
There
meet
you
me?
go.
Oh, okay. Hi. I actually was here 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
Wasn't able to
you
make it
know,
last week.
old brains.
No worries. No worries. I'm in the Austin area,
Uh-huh.
Austin, Texas, and really enjoyed hearing you guys 2 weeks
Cool.
ago. And so far, I've enjoyed it very much. I love it. I play a little mandolin and sing.
Yeah, a little jog of the brain, and I remember you very well. So I'm really pleased you're able to join us again. So, as you may know, I just take these in random order, and when I call on someone to play, they do that, and I'll mute everybody else, and the person who's performing can unmute and sing. And of course, we welcome listeners as well as performers, so that's up to you. So I'm going to call
I brought
on
my mandolin.
Mark next. Oh, by the way, this reminds me, I realized that there's an error in the invitations that went out on Friday, and that's that I did not adjust GMT time. That's a great many tea times. I did not adjust GMT for the fact that Austin goes on daylight savings time tomorrow morning. So the Stone Soup session will be not at 2000 GMT. It will be at 1900 GMT. That's but it's 2 o'clock Central Daylight Time in Austin. So please adjust accordingly. I'll try to get out another announcement with that correction. But in any case,
That will also affect the following week, by the way, because the UK is out
right,
of sync
right.
2 weeks in a
Two
row.
weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it gets bizarre because you guys, I think, go on your version of daylight savings time on the 28th of March, something like
Right.
that.
And then Australia is the following week,
Yeah.
unbelievably.
So
Go
I'm not
figure.
going to worry about that. I'm going to give it to you in GMT, correct GMT, mind you. And you guys can figure it out. So the correct GMT time after today is 1900. Alrighty, so Mark over there at 2000 GMT, it's your turn. I'm gonna mute everybody. Just a moment. Come on. All ready for Mark.
Okay, as last week I did as a song as for a working woman as Claudette Colbert as called Hard Times with DeMille. As I thought, what I actually wanted to sing was as Duke Ellington's Do Dig a Do, but I couldn't find the lyrics. So instead, I decided upon as this, which is another working as women's song. Starts off, I think, with Harve Presnell, and I don't imitate Harve Presnell at all. It goes like this. I figured it out. I figured it out. With the pencil and the pad, I figured it out. 7.5 cents doesn't buy a heck of a lot. 7.5 cents doesn't mean a thing, but give it to me every hour, 40 hours every week, and that's enough for me to be living like a king. I figured it out. I figured it out. Only 5 years from today, only 5 years from today, I can see it all before me. Only 5 years from today, 5 years, let's see, that's 260 weeks times 40 hours every week, and roughly 2.25 hours overtime at time and a half for overtime comes to exactly $852.74. That's enough for me to get an automatic washing machine, a year's supply of gasoline, carpet for the living room, a vacuum instead of a blasted room, not to mention a 40-inch television set. I figured it out. I figured it out. 7.5 cents doesn't buy a heck of a lot. 7.5 cents doesn't mean a thing, but give it to me every hour, 40 hours every week, and that's enough for me to be living like a king. Only 10 years from today, only 10 years from today, I can see it clear as daylight. Only 10 years from today, 10 years, let's see, that's 520 weeks times 40 hours every week, and roughly 2.25 overtime at time and a half for overtime comes to exactly $1,705.48. That's enough for me to buy a trip to France across the seas, a motorboat and water skis, maybe even a foreign car, a charge account at the corner bar, not to mention a Scrabble board with letters made of gold. So, although 7.5 cents doesn't mean buy a heck of a lot, cents doesn't mean a thing, but give it to me every hour, 40 hours every week, and that's enough for me to be living like a king. Okay.
Yay.
Okay.
I don't sound like Doris Day now, do I?
That's close enough. Close enough for the song circle, as they say. Okay, and now Alan Karen Beck are next on my list. I am muting everyone. Hopes they'll give us a song. Okay, all ready for you guys.
How's everybody doing today? Good? I'm got to pull up my trusty robot, Al. I got a couple of Irish tunes, play on the harmonica. The first one I've done before, that's the Gramsay jig, but now I have myself on guitar to accompany myself with. And the second one is the Star Above the Garter. Sometimes you hear these tunes together. So we'll see how this goes. I actually have two different harmonicas I'm going to be playing for this. So let's see here. Here we go.
Legacy jig and the star above the garter.
All right.
1, 2, 3.
Very deft key changing on the harmonica there.
Really?
I've been thinking that the disadvantage of the harmonica rack is you can't get that nice intonation that you do when you put your cup your hands around the harmonica. So I thought maybe you could get two artificial robot hands to manipulate
Yeah,
them with, and do that. But the key change would be hard. We have to do a rotating thing with multiple harmonicas.
yeah,
Yeah, it can be done.
yeah, yeah.
I did a recording of Ella Speed one time, which is, one of those, changes down to, well, come on and take heed, that sort of thing. Which, of course, you cannot play on a diatonic harmonica, but I did it on two harmonicas, recorded it, and yeah.
What does the star? What do the star and garter in the title refer to?
The star above the garter, it's actually um, the part of the constellation, the Orion, like in Ireland, they call Orion's belt its garter. So like the star above the garter, that's like I don't know, I forget the name of the actual star itself, but yeah, that's it. And the Gramsay jig, Gramsay Island is a really small island. It's like maybe, 16, 17 acres or something like that, and it's part of the Faroe Islands. So, then
Yeah, I have actually a clarinet duet I'd like to play.
Oh, good. Yeah. Okay.
So
so
it's going to be
she's
Robot Karen.
she's
Right.
a robot
I
Karen.
gotta-
I'm gonna mute everybody again,
Okay.
so you'll need to unmute again in a moment.
Okay, great. I'm going to put this on there.
Okay, muting.
Get this listed. Okay.
Ready for you to unmute.
Okay, yeah, this song is called Come Back to Sorrento, and it's in a duet clarinet book I have. And again, I'm always drawn to these melodies I like so much. This was by Ernesto de Cortes, and it was also, done by all kinds of people. So there's obviously words to it. Think of Italy, think of cheese, Sorrento. Who is it? Meathead and Pavarotti did this song, Meatloaf.
Where's
So-
your?
Oh, it's in video. Sorry, 1 second. Right there. Oh. Let's see. Is that it?
I don't see it.
Okay.
All right,
Hopefully that's it. Sorry.
here we go.
Come back to Sorrento. That's it.
Well, thank you, Karen and Robot Karen. Was that Robot Karen in the background, or are you just double jointed on the tongue? Great. Well, let's move along to the Hortons. There you guys are. Good to see both of you. I'm muting everyone.
Okay, we picked out some songs for today out of the book we have that's collection of old time songs, and we found a song that we knew called A Bicycle Built for Two. And when it was first published in 1892, and the name of it was called Daisy Bell. And so the first page of it we had never heard before because it's a verse. And it says, there's a flower within my heart, Daisy, planted one day by a glancing dart. And then it goes on and on and on. And then it finally gets to the chorus that we all know, Daisy, Daisy, a bicycle built for two. And the story, it was a British songwriter. He came to America and he brought a bicycle, and they charged him import tax for the bicycle. So one of his friends said, aren't you glad you don't have a bicycle built for two? You'd have to pay double tax. And he thought that was such a cool phrase, bicycle built for two. He wrote this song. So we're going to do, it's got 3 verses. We're going to start out, the soprano recorder is going to do the first verse and chorus. And then the guitar is going to do the verse. And I wrote a recorder descant. And then the guitar will do a solo on the chorus part that you know. And then on the 3rd verse, I'll do the melody on the verse and a descant on the chorus that Jeff will play the melody on. So this is a bicycle built for two. Uh-oh, my light's not working.
All right.
One of the dogs unplugged my light.
It happens.
Okay, hold on here. Okay, ready?
Yay!
Hey.
Nice to see Ellie doing that nice waltz with her friend there.
Yes, very nice.
There she is.
Look at that.
Okay. You guys good for another one?
All right, kid.
Oh, we'll wait for our next turn.
Oh, all right. All right. In that case,
Oh,
Ellie. We'll move on to Chris and Ellie and whoever her friend's name is. What's her name?
What's your baby's name? Lulu.
Lulu. That's a good one. That's
Lulu.
a Lulu. Okay, I'm gonna mute everybody.
Okay, kiddo. I'm gonna play some fiddle.
Time to unmute now.
Okay. Well, kids are funny. I go out and play with them when the weather's good. I go out and play fiddle in the backyard while they're swinging, and they always ask me, "Where are the fiddlesticks?" But then when I go get them, they chicken out. So got no fiddlesticks today.
Sorry, I forgot to mute my.
Voila. Okay. Well, after the New Dallas String Band and whatever else influence came along, eventually I started playing a lot of Cajun music. I grew up with listening to a lot of Cajun music, amongst other things, old time and Indian and God knows what else. But when I started playing the fiddle, the Cajun music just kind of floated my boat, so I went with Cajun. And Al was the, and whenever we get together, he still will be my accordion player for Cajun tunes. And this one that I'm going to play, I'm going to try and sing with it. I'm going to try it. I'm in a cross tuning right now, but I usually play this in standard tuning, tuned down a tone for Cajun music. When I've tuned the fiddle down to Cajun's tuning, then I can't sing along with it anymore. Used to when I was young, but not anymore. But I find that if I play it up a tone, I can sing lower. So we'll see how this goes. Oh, this tune is called Le Blues Balfour. And y en a ici aujourd'hui qui parlent français? Non? Pas du tout. Nobody speaks French. Good. That way you won't understand what I'm singing. Quand j'ai parti de la maison, j'avais fait mon idée. J'étais parti pour chercher à mourir au bout de mon sang. Quand j'arrivais à la maison, on est trouvé un autre victoire. Ça a cassé mon cœur depuis j'aimerais mourir que moi ça. dans ma vie. Donnerai-toi dans les seins pour passer les 2 heures avec toi. J'aimerais mourir dans tes bras. There we go.
Yeah, very nice. Woo, I like that one.
Yes. Very nice.
Great.
Okay, then we're moving along to Al Christians. I'm going to mute everybody, and I'll let you know when to unmute, okay? Muting everyone. And Al, please unmute yourself.
Got it. Oh boy. Well, we had a song about working woman. I got one from Texas. This is from Thorpe's Songs of the Cowboys. He's where the Pecos River winds and turns on its journey to the sea. From its wide walls of sand and rock, striving ever to be free. Near the highest railroad bridge that these modern times have seen, dwells fair young Patty Moorhead, the Pecos River Queen. She's known to all the cowboys on the Pecos River wide. They know full well that she can shoot, that she can rope and ride. She goes to every cow work, every roundup without fail, looking out for all her cattle, branded, walking hog on rail. Yes, she got her start in cattle, she got it with her rope. She can tie down any maverick before it can strike a lope. She can rope and tie and brand it as fast as any man. She's known to all the punchers as an A1 top cow hand. Across the Comstock Railroad Bridge, the highest in the West, Patty rode her horse one day, a lover's heart to test. For he told her that he'd gladly risk all danger for her sake. But that puncher wouldn't follow, so she's still without a mate. Hold on a second. I'm gonna see if I can find there's a slideshow that goes with this. I should share my screen. Let's see. Nope. Nah, forget it. Anyway, I got pictures of the bridge. It's really amazing. It's
I can give you permissions. Just a minute.
No, but I got to find the slideshow. It's on my drive.
Oh, okay.
It's on
All
my
right. Well,
disk
maybe
someplace.
later
I'll
then.
leave it. I'll leave it. I haven't got it found.
Okay. Thanks. That was a great song, which I hadn't heard before.
Well, I had to fit a tune to it. Thorpe just published as a poem in his book. You know, most of the books in those days, sheet music was expensive to typeset, so most of the books then just had words.
Yeah.
And that was one of the ones that he never put out any tune to. So I've never heard anybody else ever sing it, but it's mentioned quite a bit on the internet as a poem. He collected it from Judge Roy Bean in the 1890s, and then he collected the facts and wrote the poem based on what Bean had told him about this young lady named Patty Moorhead, who probably existed, but not very little about her is known. Nothing is known about her except for what's in the song, pretty much.
Right. The tune reminded me a little bit of Sam Bass.
Yeah, I don't know what I stole it from or what I was
we all
thinking
have
of.
these tunes curling around in our heads.
You know, I just started strumming something that would fit to the words.
Mm-hmm. Okay, then so next we have Larry Vaughn, I believe. Let me mute everyone. Muting, muting, muting. Okay, ready for you, Larry.
Yeah, let me grab my instrument. I'm in the dining room today, and because I'm in the dining room, we're going to go electric. Feel a little devilish. Anyway. Oh, Suzanne takes you down to a place by the river. You can hear the boats go by. You can spend the night forever. And you know that she's half crazy, and that's why you want to be there. And she feeds you tea and oranges that come all the way from China. And just when you went to tell her that you have no love to give, she gets you on her wavelength, and she lets the river answer that you've always been a lover. And you want to travel with her, and you want to travel blind. I just went to trust her, 'cause you touched her big body with her mind. And Jesus was a sailor when he walked upon the water. And he spent a long time watching from his lonely wooden tower. And just when he knew for certain all the drowning men could see him, he said, all men will be sailors then until the sea shall free them. But he himself was broken, for the sky should open. Forsaken, almost human, he sank beneath your wisdom like a stone. And you want to travel with him, and you want to travel blind. And just when you trust him, 'cause he touched your perfect body with his mind. Suzanne takes your hand and she leads you to the river. She's wearing rags and feathers from Salvation Army counters, and the sun pours down like honey on Our Lady of the Harbor. And she shows you where to look amidst the garbage and the flowers. The heroes in the sea, they're your children in the morning. They are leading out for love, and they will lead halfway forever. Was Suzanne the Fulton? And you want to travel with her, and you want to travel blind, and you think that you can trust her, 'cause she touched your perfect body with your mind.
Very nice.
Very nice.
So next we're moving along to the poets' corner, but I see one of the poets is.
They both gone. Terry, just for future reference, I think there's a poetry Zoom session out in New York at 3 o'clock.
We
so
will.
May want to get them in early next time.
Yeah, that's on a regular basis on Saturday?
I think it's every Saturday.
Of course, I have to figure the daylight savings time in that.
It's only once a month.
Oh, it's only once a month?
Yeah, it's only once a month.
Okay,
There's
cool.
another one that's at 3:30 once a month, another
Well,
Saturday.
you know,
There's a bunch
I
of
should-
different ones, but the
I
New
should
York
just-
one is once a
I
month.
should just generally ask when we start if there's anybody who needs to get started early because of later conflicts. That would be a good thing to do. Anyway, okay, so, but is Tom still with us, or did he scram as
He's
well?
gone too.
Oh dear, we've missed all our poetry today. That's too bad. But we'll move along to Mary Jane. Got a song for us, Mary Jane?
Yes.
I'm muting. And all ready for you.
Okay. I'm going to do Turn the World Around by Harry Belafonte, a song that he was inspired to write by listening to a storyteller in rural Guinea of West Africa. It's kind of an inspirational song. We come from the fire, living in the fire, go back to the fire, turn the world around. We come from the fire, living in the fire, go back to the fire, turn the world around. We come from the water, living in the water, go back to the water, turn the world around. We come from the water, living in the water, go back to the water, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living on the mountain, go back to the mountain, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living on the mountain, go back to the mountain, turn the world around. Oh, so is life. Ah, so is life. Oh, so is life. Ah, so is life. Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Do you know who I am? Do you know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Oh, so is life. Abatiwa. Ah, so is life. Oh, so is life. Abatiwa. Ah, so is life. Water make the river, river wash the mountain, fire make the sunlight, turn the world around. Heart is of the river, body is the mountain, spirit is the sunlight, turn the world around. We are of the spirit, truly of the spirit, only can the spirit turn the world around. Water make the river, river wash the mountain, fire make the turn the world around. Heart is of the river, body is the mountain, spirit is the sunlight, turn the world around. We are of the spirit, truly of the spirit, only can the spirit turn the world around. Oh, so is life Abatiwa. Oh, so is life. Oh, so is life Abatiwa. Oh, so is life.
Yay!
Yay!
Yeah, that's a lovely little song. I don't think Harry did a lot of original material like that, did he? Or
Well, I don't know. I really don't know much about Harry Belafonte. I think the Banana Boat song and this one is about it. But I like this one because it gets the elements in there. It's got all the elements mentioned except for air, and spirit is kind of like air, I guess.
yeah, right. Well, speaking of Harry, I do want to recommend there's a TV documentary called Sit In, which you can watch on Peacock TV, which is free if you install it on a computer or a Roku or something like that. And it's a documentary about the week that Harry did the Today Show. Not the Today Show. I'm sorry. The nighttime thing, the Johnny Carson thing, and it's quite fascinating. Really good. Anyway, moving along to Stuart. Stuart's usually the first in line, but he got here late today, and there he is. But despair not, Stuart will play for us. I'm muting everyone. You can unmute, Stuart.
Yeah, I managed to delete all my, updating my emails, and I deleted nearly everything. So there you go. It happens. All right, this is a Carter Family song from 1930, and I just heard it on, found on YouTube the other day, and A.P. Carter actually sings the lead on the recording, which he doesn't do a lot of. And the background to it is you know, they had, the Carter family had their big breakthrough with the record company, I think in 1927, and by 1930, AP was under a lot of pressure to produce new material. It just so happens at the end of 1928, he befriended a black guitar player called Leslie Riddle, who had lost a leg in an industrial accident, and in his spare time and to make some money, he picked up a guitar. And basically he and Leslie and AP went around to churches and halls and homes, and they picked up a lot of material. And, you know, the way AP worked is, like all good songwriters, you change a couple of words, you change a couple of chords, and you copyright it. So that's what it did. And this is really a church hymn. The church hymn from the black church is called the Fire Hymn. And he calls this, AP calls this the world, when the world's on fire. And the discerning among you may be able to recognize at least half of this tune. Here we go. Oh, my loving mother, when the world's on fire, don't you want God's bosom to be your pillow? Tide me over in the rock of ages, cleft for me. I'm going to heaven when the world's on fire, and I want God's bosom to be my pillow. Tide me over in the rock of ages, cleft for me. Oh, my loving brother, when the world's on fire, don't you want God's bosom to be your pillow? Tide me over in the rock of ages, Rock of Ages cleft for me. Oh, my loving sinner, when the world's on fire, don't you want God's bosom to be your pillow? Tide me over in the rock of ages. Rock of Ages cleft for me. Don't you want to go to heaven when the world's on fire? Don't you want God's bosom to be your pillow? Tide me over in the rock of ages. Rock of Ages cleft for me. Oh, tide me over in the rock of ages. Rock of Ages cleft for me.
Yay!
Yeah, good one.
That's Little Darling Pal of Mine.
And it's also This Land
This land is your land, right?
Yeah,
Woody stole little Darling Pal of Mine, but I guess AP stole stole that tune for Little Darling Pal of Mine. He stole it from himself.
That's right. You had to mix and match, they call that, I think.
It's all the folk
One
tradition.
might query the idea that good songwriters would copyright other people's material by changing a couple of notes of it, because I thought that's morally a cheat, really, because it deprives the other person of they could actually be sued for copyright for singing their own stuff, which doesn't seem to be quite right. It's probably a good commercial sense, but perhaps not.
Yeah. It was cutthroat back then. They're all.
Well, Martin Carthy is still aggrieved about Paul Simon doing it for the canticle part of Scarborough Fairs.
Yeah.
Oh, me. I try to stick to traditional materials and I don't get into that, but you find out most of the traditional material was authored by somebody who wants some money for it. But okay, so after Stuart, we have Susan Fife. Can you give us a tune, Susan? Yes? Okay, I'm going to mute everybody and let you unmute yourself one more time, if that's all right. Okay, so you'll need to unmute now.
There. I think I got it. Okay, this is a song, I can't remember who wrote it. It's called Four Strong Winds, and a lot of people have covered it. It's from, I think, like 50
Ian
years ago.
Tyson is
Ian
the
Tyson.
composer. Yeah.
Oh, what? Okay, anyway, Four Strong Winds. I think I'll go out to Alberta, weather's good there in the fall. I've got some friends that I can go to working for. Still, I wish you'd change your mind if I ask you one more time. But we've been through this 100 times or more. Four strong winds that blow lonely, 7 seas that run high. All those things that don't change, come what may. If the good times are all gone, then I'm bound for moving on. I look for you if I'm ever back this way. If I get there before the snow flies, and if things are looking good, could meet me if I send you down the fair. But by then it would be winter, not too much for you to do. And those windsoar can blow cold way out there. For strong winds that blow lonely, 7 seas that run high, all those things that don't change come what may. If the good times are all gone, then I'm bound for moving on. I look for you if I'm ever back this way. Still I wish you'd change your mind if I ask you one more time. What we've been through that 100 times or more. For strong winds that blow lonely, 7 seas that run high, all those things that don't change come what may. If the good times are all gone, then I'm bound for moving on. I look for you if I'm ever back this way. I look for you if I'm ever back this way.
Yeah, very nice.
Beautiful song.
From the days of Ian and Sylvia
Thank you.
till they broke up. Okay. So last but hardly least on our list is Paul. I think unless did somebody join us? Well, anyway, we'll have Paul next anyway. I'm muting everyone. And ready when you're ready to unmute, Paul.
Thank you. Okay. This is actually written by a friend of mine. It's called The Carver, and it's inspired by a couple of centuries old carvings in the in a church in the Canary Islands on a visit in 2009. So some of the references about soldiers going to war and such like would have probably been referring to the Iraq War and stuff then. Okay. I will never know your name, but I know you just the same. You're the one who did the carving in the church down by the square. Many years have come and gone, but the work you did lives on. You'd be pleased to know how many people come to see it there. And I feel as if I'm standing by your side, and I'm sharing in your craftsman's pride. In time we're far apart, but there's something in your heart that I can feel. And I wonder if your time was anything like mine, when people were sent to war for things they cannot understand. Did you ever have to fight for what someone said was right? Did they take away your tools and put a weapon in your hand? And I feel as if I'm standing by your side, and I'm sharing in your craftsman's pride. In time we're far apart, but there's something in your heart that I can feel. And if I can share with you this feeling you once knew, your pride in making something that could speak across the years, then maybe we can share some sympathy and care with brothers in our own time, only parted by their fears. And I feel as if I'm standing by your side, and I'm sharing in your craftsman's pride. In time we're far apart, but there's something in your heart that I can feel. I will never know your name, but I know you just the same. You're the one who did the carving in the church down by the square. Just a simple work of art, reaching out from hand to heart. You'd be pleased to know how many people come to see it there.
Oh, wow. Really good.
Thank you.
By Brian Hooper, who's also from Southampton, UK, where I'm from.
Very nice.
Okay. Well, I guess unless I missed anybody, I don't think I did, I guess it's up to me. And I'm going to do a kind of a simplified version of Big Bill Brinsley's version of an old jazz standard called I Get the Blues When It Rains. It's a rainy day in Austin, so I thought it would be appropriate. While I was looking around for versions of this song and others, I ran across someone on YouTube called Daddy Stovepipe. Has anyone heard Daddy Stovepipe? Well, he's a retired shopkeeper from Belgium, and he teaches guitar, and he does hundreds of tutorials for which he will, for a fee, supply the tablature, but his YouTube videos are very nicely framed, so you can see his right hand and his left hand, and plays beautiful, clear guitar on all of these.
There used to be a blues singer called Sweet Papa Stovepipe. I think I saw him written up in the 70s.
I don't know if there's any connection, but he calls himself Daddy Stovepipe. Anyway, I recommend, especially if you're a guitarist, look him up. It's a wealth of material, and he's utterly charming performer. Anyway. I get the blues when it rains. Blues I can't lose when it rains. Each little teardrop runs down my window pane. Yes, it always reminds me of the tears I shed in vain. I sit and wait for the sun. shine down on me once again. It was raining when I found you, was raining when I lost you. I get the blues when it rains. I get the blues when it rains. I get the blues I can't lose when it rains. Each little teardrop, each little teardrop runs down my window pane. Yes, I get, always reminds me of the tears I shed in vain. I sit and wait for the sun to shine down on me once again. It was raining when I found you, it was raining when I lost you. I get the blues when it rains.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, you ready to go around again? Bef- yeah. Well, before we start, I just to put a bee in your bonnet here. Now, Liz and I, as of yesterday, have gotten it's a couple of weeks since our second vaccination, and we're fully vaccinated, and lots of people we know are getting fully vaccinated. So you too, Alan, Karen, great. Well, but it makes me aware that, you know, the light's at the end of the tunnel, and got me to thinking about what we're going to do with these online song sessions. And, you know, I hate to let the whole thing go just because COVID has gone away. Especially since there's such dear friends that we get from other parts of the world that have joined us. So you know, I think some of these sessions, possibly Stone Soup, may return to being live sessions again, but maybe we want to keep some of these things alive just because we enjoy them. So I don't know, think about that, think of what your predilections might be, and we can talk about it as, you know, more good news comes our way.
We should all go play in a pub in Poland. How about that?
That's a good idea. Every week we'll broadcast live from some part of the world. I would go for that.
I love that.
Israel and Poland and the UK and Scotland and Ireland.
Is this the time that you usually would operate when you're live in the afternoon, or did you pick that?
Yeah, more or less.
UK and European audience.
Yeah,
if you were running live, would it like overlap with a Zoom session? Because I mean, this is a convenient time for people in the UK and Europe. And it depends if you change the time. If that's the same time as you are normally performing live, you're not going to want to sort of go on doing.
Well, the Celtic session and the Stone Soup sessions were the ones we were doing live, and then the Saturday sessions we just started as Zoom sessions. So I don't know. We can think about that too. What would be the best times? We could do a hybrid approach of having a Zoom session from wherever we were meeting in person. There's lots of possibilities, and I think we have some time to think about it. And I would love to get your suggestions and ideas. So for now, though, we'll go for another turn on our Zoom
I'm
session
gonna,
here.
sorry to interrupt, Terry. I'm just
Sure.
gonna drop off, say goodbye. See you all
Okay, good
next
to
week, I
see
hope.
you, Susan.
Bye bye.
Take care.
I,
All righty.
I need to lead too, so we'll see you guys next week. Okay.
Okay, see you later. Well, presumably Dave will still be hanging around. So, would you like to do a song for us? I'm going to mute everyone, and we're ready for you, David.
Speaking of little Nora Brown, this is a song I learned from her singing off of one of her YouTube videos. And it's a rather odd one, but I really like it. It's called Across the Blue Mountain. One morning in May, I overheard a married man to a young woman say, "Go dress you up, pretty Katie, and come along with me across the Blue Mountain to the Allegheny." I'll buy you a horse, love, and a saddle for to ride. I'll buy me another one to ride by your side. We'll stop at every tavern, we'll drink when we're dry. Across the Blue Mountain goes my Katie and I. Then up spoke her mother, and angry was she then. Oh daughter, he is a married man. Besides, there's young men plenty, more handsome than he. Let him take his own wife to the Allegheny. Oh mother, he's the man of my own heart. And wouldn't it be a dreadful thing for me and my love to part? I'd envy every woman that ever I did see go across the Blue Mountain to the Allegheny. Well, the last time I saw him, he was saddled for to ride, with Katie, his darling, right there by his side. Laughing and singing and thankful to be free, to cross the Blue Mountain to the Allegheny. They left before daybreak on a dapple and a roan, past tall shivering pine trees where the mockingbirds moan, past dark cabin windows where eyes never see, across the Blue Mountain to the Allegheny.
Hey, nice.
That resembles the tune of that resembles the tune of a song that I know as Dorset is Beautiful, Dorset being one of the southern counties, which I suspect is relatively modern in that it takes the mickey out of the beauties of the place, about it being always raining and unromantic, and it's an agricultural county primarily. So, and there's sort of unromantic things about like farmers meeting their swains on the in the fields and stuff like that. So I wonder if possibly that's also borrowed a traditional tune which has crossed over to America
Well,
and become another.
except for a couple of changes, it's very much like Pretty Taro,
Yeah.
which is a well-known, very old American folk song. I wonder, what was the name of the tune you mentioned, Paul?
Dorset is beautiful.
I missed it, sorry.
Dorset is beautiful.
Dorset is beautiful.
Dorset is beautiful wherever you go with the rain in the summertime and the wurzel bush grow. Wurzel is some kind of, I think it's a weed actually, and it's pleasant to sit in the thunder and the hail with your girlfriend on a turnip clump and hear the sweet nightingale. So it's obviously taking the mickey out of sort of folk songs in praise of places.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so next on my list is Mark. Can you do another for us? I'm muting everyone. Ready for you.
Okay, well, here's the latest from Old Possum, and it's about Old Deuteronomy. Old Deuteronomy's lived a long time. He's a cat who's lived many lives in succession. He was famous in proverb and famous in rhyme a long while before Queen Victoria's accession. Old Deuteronomy's buried 9 wives and more. I'm tempted to say 99. And his numerous progeny prospers and thrives, and the village is proud of him in his decline. At the sight of that placid and bland physiognomy, when he sits in the sun on his vicarage wall, the oldest inhabitant croaks, "Well, of all things, can it be really? No, yes. Ho, hi, oh my eye, my sight must be failing, but yet I confess I believe it is old Deuteronomy." Old Deuteronomy sits in the street. He sits in the high street on market day. The bullocks may bellow, the sheep may bleat, but the dogs and the herdsmen will turn them away. The cats, the cars, and the lorries run over the curb, put up a notice, "Road closed," so that nothing untoward may chance to disturb Deuteronomy's rest when he feels so disposed, or when he's engaged in domestic economy. And the oldest inhabitant croaks, "Well, of all things, can it be really? No, yes. Ho, hi, oh my eye, I'm deaf of an ear now, but yet I can guess that the cause of the trouble is old Deuteronomy." Old Deuteronomy lies on the floor of the Fox and French Horn for his afternoon sleep. And when the men say, "There's just time for one more," then the landlady from her back parlor will peep and say, "Now then, out you go by the back door, for old Deuteronomy mustn't be woken. I'll have the police if there's any uproar." And out they all shuffle without a word spoken. The digestive repose of that feline's gastronomy must never be broken, whatever befall. And the oldest inhabitant croaks, "Well, of all things, can it be really? Yes, no. Hi-ho, oh my eye, my legs may be tottery. I must go slow and be careful of old Deuteronomy."
Meow. Great. All right, well, let's move along to the Becks. And I see Al has his accordion strapped on, so unless he's weightlifting, he probably wants to sing a song. So I'm gonna mute everyone.
Maybe I'll.
Ready to unmute now.
Try and back up a little bit so I don't blow the speakers out on this. All right.
Yeah, wake up.
You know, like when I played with the Sorrell brothers, we always used to say, well, we're not very good, but we're loud. All right, so this one kind of. Allez-vous-en. Allez-vous-en.
Not loud enough. Not loud enough.
Songs are sounding alike to me today.
You just like to do that. It's you know, like when they cook stuff. You know, like some days they'll make some etouffee one day, turn it into soup the next. So like with their tunes, play the same song as a two-step, and after a while you get some leftovers, and you play it as a waltz. You know.
Yeah.
You should hear
It reminded me of the Home Sweet Home. The man there.
Yeah, it's allez-vous-en in Cajun French. That means y'all get out of here. They used to play that for the last song at a lot of these Cajun dances. You know, when they started playing that, you knew you had to find the girl that you got there with. You know, and
I want to hear Al play when he turns his microphone on. It's going to be really something, sir.
oh yeah, all right.
Okay. Did you guys want to do another one? No, just
one for now.
Yeah. Okie doke. So in that case, we'll move on to the Hortons. I'm muting everyone. If I can find my little button here. There you go. Okay, ready for you.
Okay. We have another song from the 1800s. It's The Man on the Flying Trapeze. It was first published in 1867. And I just read the words. I didn't realize it's kind of a sad song. It says, once I was happy, but now I'm forlorn. like an old coat that is tattered and torn, left in the wide world to weep and to mourn, betrayed by a maid. Oh, this maid that I loved, and I tried all I knew to please her, but never could I please her 1/4 as well as the man on the flying trapeze. So this is kind of, and then by the end of it, he's looking at her, and then she finally joins the troupe, and she flies in this trapeze with him. But anyway, we're going to do our arrangement that we wrote this week of this song. Okay. Wait, what key are we in?
G.
Oh, G. Okay. I'm in the wrong key. Sorry about that.
One more
Let's
time.
try it in G this time.
Yeah.
Hey.
Nice
Wow.
guitar work.
Yeah, first song I ever learned with the word purloined in it.
Purloined.
And the rest is history.
You gonna do us another?
No, that's all we have today.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, we'll pass the baton along to Al Christians. I'm muting everyone.
Oh, you didn't work. Yeah, I
I'm
must have
working
waited
on it.
long
Just a
enough to-
minute. Here we go. Now, if you'll unmute yourself, please, Al.
There. Okay, we're in business. Okay, I'm gonna blow my nose here a second. Got a song that was stolen, or a tune that was stolen from the Carter family, just to even things up here a little bit. And actually, you reminded me of this one, Terry, when you were talking about GMT, because I can remember back when Greenwich was a village, and it, had a Dutch name. wasn't from England. It was from Dutch. And so this one, it's about the train that goes through the village. Along came the IRT, a cannonballing through from 242nd Street to Flatbush Avenue. 5:15 on a Friday night, she pulled into Times Square. The people filled the station. Georgie, he was there. The people filled the station. They milled and massed around. Georgie looked upon that train. It was Brooklyn bound. He vowed at once the train to board, the weekend not to roam. For Georgie was a shipping clerk, Brooklyn was his home. The people filled the station, 1,000,000 head or more. George used his elbows and his knees until he reached that door. But when he reached those portals, he could not take the gas. The conductor shut the door on him and cut poor George in half. The train pulled out of Times Square, the swiftest on the line. It carried old George's head along, it left his body behind. Oh, Georgie died a hero's death, his martyrdom's plain to see. And the very last words that Georgie said were, "Screw the IRT." So when you ride the IRT and you approach Times Square, incline your head a few degrees, say a simple prayer, for his body lies between the ties amidst the dust and dew, and his head it rides the IRT to Flatbush Avenue.
Yeah. Funny one.
Great old railroad song. Probably Jimmy Rogers sang that.
Well, it was written in that era. I think it was written in the 1920s, perhaps.
Really?
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
I sang that for another group last week, and I looked at my glucometer right after it, and my glucometer read 143, which of course was the number of the engine in the Carter family song that was stolen from. Like it liked the song and it was letting me know.
I guess so. Alrighty, Mary Jane, you got a song for us? I'm muting everyone. Ready for you.
Okay, I'm going to do an original song inspired by Terry's last blues song, the Pillbug Blues, and also because it's spring now, and this is kind of a song about gardening. got pill bugs crawling, crawling in my garden soil. Oh wait, I'm in the wrong key. Take a tip from the horns. Okay, let's try again. I got pill bugs crawling, crawling in my garden soil. I got pill bugs walking all around my garden soil. I get so mad at these pill bugs, it really makes my bloodstream boil. I planted a garden with turnips and leafy greens. I planted a garden with spinach and lettuce greens. Now I've got lace on stalks and a crop of brown black beans. I got so many pill bugs, I don't know what to do. I got so many pill bugs, I really don't have a clue. If I spray them with poison, I have to eat that too. It may not be the pill bug that's eating up all of my plants. It may not be the pill bug that's chomping up all of my plants. But he's rolling on the leaves, doing his many-legged dance. The lady at the nursery said the pill bug is not her friend. That wise old lady said the pill bug is not your friend. And that's another good reason to hurry his life till its end. Well, there's hundreds of pill bugs living under my flower pots. There's hundreds of pill bugs lurking under my flower pots. I could kill them all, but there's 1,000 more under the rocks. I got pill bugs crawling, crawling in my garden soil. I got pill bugs walking all around my garden soil. I get so mad at these pill bugs, it really makes my bloodstream boil.
Very nice.
Very horticultural blues. Yeah, that's great. And that's an original then.
It is, yeah.
Well, congratulations. That's a good one. Okay, then moving along to Stuart once more. Muting everybody. Ready for Stuart.
Okay, this is a Merle Haggard song, and for some reason this struck me this week. here I am living a life of luxury and retirement. Well, not exactly, a comfortable retirement in America. And I was reflecting that 100 years ago, my family were all agricultural labourers or miners in the middle of England, desperately poor people living hand to mouth. And my mother passed away about 27 years ago, and I came across Merle Haggard's Mama's Hungry Eyes, and it struck a chord with me. And Merle had this ability to put a couple of lines in that were just real pearls and grabbed your attention. Well, here we go. A canvas-covered cabin in a crowded labor camp. Stand out in this memory I revive. 'Cause my daddy raised a family there with 2 hard-working hands. Tried to feed my mama's hungry eyes. He dreamed of something better, and my mama's faith was strong. And us kids were just too young to realize that another class of people put us somewhere just below. One more reason for my mama's hungry eyes. Mama never had the luxury she wanted, but it wasn't 'cause my daddy didn't try. She only wanted things she really needed. One more reason for my mama's hungry eyes. Remember Daddy praying for a better way of life, but I don't recall a change of any size. Just a little loss of courage as their rays began to show, and more sadness in my mama's hungry eyes. Mama never got the luxury she wanted, but it wasn't 'cause my daddy didn't try. She only wanted things she really needed. One more reason for my mama's hungry eyes. I still recall my mama's hungry eyes.
Yay! Good.
Good adaptation. Great.
I think my glucometer does appreciate music because it just gave me a 99, which is, of course, the highway that goes right through Merle Haggard's hometown.
All these musical instruments, instrumenting us. Yeah. Okay, Paul, will you give us another? I'm going to mute everyone. Ready for you.
Okay. And where was Stuart in ancestors from? In what do you call the middle of England? You'll have to unmute. You'll have to unmute. You'll have to unmute.
Brown Hills, if you know the area.
Right, so that's north of that's just north of the Birmingham conurbation, isn't it? Yes,
Yeah.
right. Okay. Well, this song might have been written from somewhere around there. Where I've not actually found exactly who wrote it, but I know that the performer was from. Was quite big in the 60s, 70s. Actually, he spent quite a lot of time in America. Colin Scott, he was, and the person I got this from mentioned that and who learned it from him, who was a friend of Colin, said that that Colin told him it was by some singer-songwriter who was popular in the Midlands. And who may have written it for him. This sort of tells the story of someone who's just discovered that their teacher has died and is now regretting the trouble that they caused as a young child to the teacher. The friend who I got this from, we used to duo this, and we hit on the idea of introducing it and outroducing it with a little sort of playground jingle, which is known as Seesaw Marjorie Door over here. I don't know whether that sort of thing has reached America, but anyway, give it a show. When you made me stay behind, and you had me read from a book you used to keep on a pillow in your bedroom when you cried yourself to sleep. Then as a child I never gave a damn, having found that you've gone, though I'd like to say how sorry I am. Oh, Mrs. Willis, have a lovely time, but please don't forget me. Oh, Mrs. Willis, would you send a sign just to let me know how you doing now you've left the road to ruin? Oh, Mrs. Willis, were you crying about me? Now you're leaving without me. Do you still tell tales of the tales you used to tell when us children sat around you and your voice was like a bell, and you made us pray with our eyes tightly closed while you picked our Jesus story? I just picked my nose. Then as a child I rarely understood. Now older and wiser, I'd apologize if only I could. Oh, Mrs. Willis, have a lovely time, but please don't forget me. Oh, Mrs. Willis, would you send a sign just to let me know how you're doing now you've left the road to ruin? Oh, Mrs. Willis, were you crying about me? Now you're leaving without me. If you saw me now, would you know you saw me then? Striking matches in the playground, would you blow them out again? And if I saw you at the stall that sells careers, could I stand to watch you browsing through the slightly shop-soiled years when I was a child. I didn't give a toss. Now with kids of my own, I realize how lucky I was. Oh, Mrs. Willis, have a lovely time, but please don't forget me. Oh, Mrs. Willis, would you send a sign just to let me know how you doing? Now you've left the road to ruin. Oh, Mrs. Willis, were you crying about me? Now you're leaving without me.
Oh, very sweet.
Very good.
Oh, what a lovely song.
Yeah, I'd love to know. The nearest candidate we've got is a guy called Martin Hall, who is dead now as well. But there's almost nothing about him online. So unless we actually hear someone who remembers him doing it or remembers Colin Scott doing it and such like, we probably never find out. But it's nice to keep the song alive. It's great.
Yes,
Isn't it?
it certainly is.
Can I ask what key your last two songs were? I was playing along in my B whistle. I don't know what
Right,
you.
well, that one was in E.
Okay.
And the other one, I started on a B note, but I'm not quite sure. I think that's in G sharp minor.
Yeah, I had my B whistle, so that's cool.
Right.
Thanks.
Right.
Okay, well, I see Sandy is waving to us. Does that mean you have a song to do? Yes, okay, yes indeed.
No. I need to go.
Oh,
I've got
need to go.
dogs that are.
Well,
needing
I
out.
was going to ask for
Sorry.
encores and sing our goodbye song, so you might want to stick around for a little bit. Anybody have an encore? Not today?
Okay.
I'm going to do the goodbye song of the day is My Home's Across the Blue Ridge Mountains. I'm kind of straining for goodbye songs, but the song at least has the word goodbye in it. It's a goodbye song. Here we go.
What key?
Key of G. My home's across the Blue Ridge Mountains. My home's across the Blue Ridge Mountains. My home's across the Blue Ridge Mountains. And I never expect to see you anymore. Goodbye, my honey sugar darling. Goodbye, my honey sugar darling. Goodbye, my honey sugar darling. Never expect to see you anymore. I'm going back to North Carolina. I'm going back to North Carolina. I'm going back to North Carolina. And I never expect to see you anymore. Rock and feed my baby candy. Rock and feed my baby candy. Rock and feed my baby gave you, give me back that finger ring I gave you, and I never expect to see you anymore. How can I keep from crying? How can I keep from crying? How can I keep from crying? 'Cause I never expect to see you anymore. My home's across the Blue Ridge Mountains. My home's across the Blue Ridge Mountains. My home's across the Blue Ridge Mountains. I never expect to see you anymore. 'Cause I never expect to see you anymore.
Yay, Terry!
Okay, well, that's all, folks. Remember, Stone Soup Sessions at 19:00 Greenwich Mean Time. I really didn't know that Greenwich Mean Time could be different than UK time, but apparently it can during daylight savings time.
I think it's called UTC now, Universal
Yes,
Time
it is.
Coordinated.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
What is Stone Soup? What kind of music is a Stone Soup?
You want to explain that, David? It's David's.
Yeah, basically the idea that I had for the Stone Soup session originally had to do with the fact that we had so many different genres in Central Texas. We had bluegrass, we had old time, we had blues, we had ragtime, we had conjunto, we had Cajun, and on and on and on. British Isles, Irish, and so rather than have these separate sessions going on with each of these different styles, I thought that I would ask people to bring them all together to share. So basically it's whatever genre of traditional folk music you do just gets added to the mix, so to speak. It can be a song, it can be a instrumental, or even a piece of poetry. So that's what is the premise of the Stone Soup session. It's more or less whatever you bring to the table.
And sometimes folks bring jazz and classical and pop, all are welcome, just like these sessions. So we used to hold these at the Texas Music Museum in Austin, and then when the virus hit, we all went online.
Yeah, the Armadillo shut down just before I joined back in the 80s or 70s or whenever it was. I missed the Armadillo by about, I don't know, just a few months, I think.
Unfortunately, song sessions are super spreader events. So I think it's going to be a good long while before we'll be able to do them live, in that they don't know if people who are vaccinated may still be able to pass on the virus to others. So it's going to take a lot of herd immunity to make it safe for that kind of a live event, but we'll just have to see how it goes.
Singing itself was deemed to be a risky thing because of the extra aerosol.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is the most infectious thing you can do is play music together and sing.
Especially whistle players. They really project.
Right,
Well,
right.
I wish you all good luck down there.
Thanks, Al.
Yeah.
Good to
Thank
see
you
you.
so much. And
Stay healthy. I'll see you next time.
I raise this about,
Right.
because it's just not too soon to start thinking about it, though. Time will tell when we can actually do things a little differently.
Yeah, it's really a puzzle for all kinds of organizations that have converted, and they've got all the people attending who like to attend via Zoom, and they don't want to lose all of that. They've got so many people.
Exactly. We've got people all over the world on these things that don't want to just, say goodbye.
Basically, you just find a sort of less frequent but regular thing that people can latch onto, like the last one of the month, that sort of thing.
Right.
I know there's one up in New York State that is planned. They every time they have a fifth Tuesday of the month, they used to have a special event on their live things, and they thought they might do that. That's about 4 times a year. They might do their Zoom thing instead of that. to sort of keep
Well,
their people
now
going.
we know.
And of course, they've got a mailing list. That's the thing that you can remind people whenever it is. So
Now we know pandemic won't stop us. Then there's all sorts of things that are possible. So I will bid you adieu and see you next time.
Thanks,
We'll see you
Gary.
next time.
Bye all.
Stay safe, everybody.
Everybody.